Original characters, also known as OCs. We all know them, we all love them, and we've probably all made them before. Sonic the Hedgehog. We also all know him. We also all love him, and we've probably watched or played one of his games before. Put them together, and you get Sonic OCs. Now, to be fair, Sonic OCs have a reputation, but the funny thing about that is, I don't care. So today, I'm going to be showing off my Sonic OCs. Yippee! Hola, bonjour, wagwan, hello, my name is Mandy, and wait a minute, isn't this supposed to come after the intro? Wow! Okay, first of all, a little note to the people who've watched me for a little bit now. The audio might sound a bit different, like the audio quality, because CapCut no longer works on the original device I use, which was my laptop. So now I have to record everything on my phone. I also am going to like draw some of the frames on my phone as well. So some things may look different than other frames at different times, but I can still make long form content. So don't worry about that. So I've pretty much been in the Sonic fandom ever since I was a wee lad. I remember specifically my first exposure to it was from Sonic Underground, the show that made Sonic a triplet. Yeah, that show. That show was an absolute fever dream, I'm not even gonna lie. Despite this, it took me a really long time to actually make a Sonic OC. Whenever I wanted to like insert myself into little adventures and stuff, I would just think of myself. I never really had a specific character to use as that outlet until I had seen a video by Project SNT, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. That character is cool. I didn't know you could make OCs like that. I should do that. And so I doodled a little drawing of a hedgehog fox hybrid, just a SNT recolor, and never used her again. And unfortunately, I have no record of this doodle. So it's kind of just lost media, I guess. Until I came back and I said, you know what? I should redraw that because I was out of my Sonic phase by that time. But I didn't want to just leave that poor OC sitting there. So I drew her again and finally gave her her name. And unfortunately, we have no record of. Yes, you do. What? You do have a record of that OC, actually. We have a screenshot of it. I don't know what you're talking about. It's right here. Okay, you know what? Who invited you here? Go back to the Instagram account. This is why you don't post consistently. Like a year or two later, the Sonic 3 movie came out, and holy cow, listen. That movie, it roped me back in my Sonic phase like I was a horse, okay? It took me back in. And so I decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to take this OC and I'm going to actually like flesh her out and make her. And I did. And I love her now. Here are some pictures of the process of creating her in her first designs. While I was creating her, one of my friends, we'll call him M for now. He's probably watching this video, and if you are, hi, how you doing? He created an OC as well while I was making mine. So I'm going to show a speed paint of me officially designing them and like getting a ref sheet and everything. And I'll be talking about their lore. Should probably mention when it comes to Uslid, my friend's OC, I think that's how you pronounce his name. This is like my interpretation of him because, like I said, I didn't create him. My friend created him. I just co parent him. So Yeah, there's going to be some things about his lore that I don't know. And I'm gonna go ahead and put M on the spot and go write like some stuff that I missed about his lore in the comment section for anybody who's curious. Alright, thank you. It's yapping time. So you've probably noticed by now that Savannah looks suspiciously like Shadow. That is for a reason. When I watched the third Sonic movie, I'm like, wow, I am actually very interested in Shadow's lore. And so I decided to make another arc experiment. I'm very original. The whole idea behind Savannah was, what if, right, we take Shadow the Hedgehog, but he actually has like another person he heavily cares about. The in universe explanation for this is that when Gerald was creating the ultimate life form, he kind of had the realization, and more of Maria, kind of put it in his head like, yo, we're making a experiment here. There's a chance that it can go rogue. So, how about this? We're going to make two of them to create a system of checks and balances where one will keep the other in check just in case something happens. And then Project Savannah was born. Now, Project Savannah is slightly different from Project Shadow. First of all, I'm just going to refer to them both as Project Shadow Savannah because that's how I in universe refer to them. And secondly, Savannah needed a little more to wake her up than Shadow did. She needed like a whole nother soul, which I could get into, but I'm on a time crunch here, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But essentially, she has the soul of another person in her, a child specifically. So both Shadow and Savannah grew up on the Ark, befriended Maria, the whole shtick. You get it. You know by now. And if you don't, why are you here? Go watch like an essay video on Shadow's lore or something and then come back. Skip forward to the day Gunn invaded the Ark, and Maria, Savannah, and Shadow are trying to get the heck out of there. Maria put them both into escape pods, sent them out, sayonara, you know. However, when it came to their escape pods crashed into each other. And because of that, that put Savannah severely off course. She never landed on Earth. What happened instead was her escape pod was drifting in space for a while and eventually ended up landing on a stray planet where, guess who? That's right, Uslid lived. Now, during this time, Uslid's village and pretty much general clan was kind of under attack. I don't know what his clan name was yet. I'm pretty sure I was told what it is, but I completely forgot. That's my bad. And his clan and his village was at war, okay? The war was very, very bad to the point where everybody in his village got slaughtered, including him. The only reason why he was alive to this day was because one of the clan members, one of like the leaders, they managed to get their hands on a Chaos Emerald, and they used that Chaos Emerald to essentially replace his heart. So he's not a regular Mobian. He has no soul. He's completely running off of chaos energy, and that's why he also has inhibitor rings. So Uslid, alone and depressed at the fact that literally everybody in his village got slaughtered, eventually comes across a rundown, broken escape pod in the woods. Uslid knows his land like the back of his hand, so seeing this pod here was strange and new. Out of curiosity, he decides to open it and see what the contents are, only to find a scared and confused Savannah inside. Savannah eventually explains like, oh, this, that, and the third happened. I need to find my brother. We got separated in pods and I don't know what's happening. And this isn't Earth, is it? And Lucid's like, no, this isn't Earth, girly. You made a wrong turn. It takes some time in warming up to each other, but eventually Savannah and Uslid bond over the fact that not only are they both pretty much invincible, untouchable, heck yeah, but they're also severely lonely and missing family. I would also like to note, because Savannah does her best with Chaos Emeralds and Uslid is a Chaos Emerald, they bounce off each other so well. Like, Come on now. Eventually, they decide, you know what? Let's go to Earth, okay? Because one big, very huge, important thing to note about Savannah here is that because her escape pod didn't land on Earth, it landed on the stray planet, her memories are completely intact, which means she remembers Maria's final wish. So, her wanting to fulfill Maria's final wish of protecting the people of Earth, along with Uslid's general want to just leave the horrid place that he grew up in, they decide to travel to Earth. And though she'd never admit it, there was a little part of Savannah that wanted to go to Earth to possibly find Shadow. Now, when she arrived on the stray planet, she had this gut instinct, this feeling in her that Shadow isn't long gone. There is something in her telling her that he's still there. They're pretty much connected, so it's that twin instinct, you know? But alas, she doesn't want to get her hopes up, so she tells herself we're going to Earth to fulfill Maria's wish, nothing else. And then she sees a news report of Shadow causing havoc in the streets, and she's like, oh shoot, he's alive! God dang! This starts the arc in their lore that I like to call the Hog Hunt, where essentially Savannah drags Uslid to go and find Shadow because they both realize, oh, he's alive. We gotta find him. Why is he causing havoc? Maria's final wish was to protect the people of Earth. So why is he out here being a menace? Insert a very long investigation of going to gun bases, burning down gun bases, trying to grab any information that they can on what happened to Project Shadow. Savannah eventually finds out that they put that man in stasis, and it was over for them. It was over for them. Did I mention Savannah has a temper? It was through this, though, that Savannah realized that 50 years had passed. Now, time works a little differently on Uslid's planet. We don't have the exact specifications, so don't ask. But that, along with the traveling in space for a bit and landing on the planet and not being found until much time later, it's been 50 years. That gives her a bit of an existential crisis. In this section, I was originally talking about how I haven't played Sonic Adventure 2 yet, so I can't really fill this part of their story, but this has been in the vault for so long that I have actually played a good chunk of Sonic Adventure 2 now, so yeah. I'll get to their gameplay mechanics another time, but while Savannah is, just trying to fill Maria's wish, invading gun bases and whatnot, Uslid is actually actively hunting down Shadow, and eventually he manages to find him and get Shadow and Savannah in the same room together. Sometime after, Sonic and Shadow's first confrontation. Savannah then pressures Shadow, like, bro, weren't we supposed to preserve the people of the planet? Why are you wilding out like this? And Shadow's like, what do you mean? She wanted us to kill everyone. She's like, whoa. So because of the conflicting ideals, they would be on different sides for the majority of the Sonic Adventure 2 events. Savannah would be constantly trying to tell Shadow, yo, this isn't right. This is not what Maria wanted. And he's just not having it because his memories are all messed up, even though there's a little part of him that has a bit of doubt, like, maybe, just maybe. Would also like to know, I don't know when it would be because I haven't fully played Sonic Adventure 2, but when Elucid comes across Rouge, that's a big existential crisis for him because he hasn't seen somebody that's one of his kind in years. That was kind of like an emotional experience for him, the rare moment where he isn't being a zesty bat and he has feelings. Forward into time, where we get to the end of Sonic Adventure 2, where Shadow realizes through Amy, Maria's final wish was to not kill everyone. Okay, I get it now. And so Savannah is kind of just cheering him and Sonic on as they are fighting the Bio Lizard through the arc window. Everything's fine and dandy until Shadow starts falling. He starts plummeting to Earth. Super got knocked out of him, which, by the way, I should probably mention because Uslit's a Chaos Emerald. Whenever somebody goes super, he kind of can like go into their mind and speak to them. So he was speaking to both Shadow and Sonic while they were fighting the Bio Lizard. So as soon as Savannah realizes that Shadow is falling, her immediate reaction is, I gotta go get him. She tries to teleport out of the arc, but when Sonic comes back in and Elucid kind of comes back into existence, no longer being in his Chaos Emerald form, he reels her back in, trying to get her to snap out of it, knowing dang well that she's going to hurt herself trying to find Shadow. Savannah is originally extremely confused. Like, bro, I can get him. I'm in ultimate life form. What you trying to stop me for? But Elucid's like, girl, don't even try. Don't even try. Just let it go. Now, I don't know the events of Sonic Heroes or Shadow the Hedgehog, the games that came out after Sonic Adventure 2. So I couldn't tell you how they eventually meet again, but they meet again. Think of it as we're still working out those final details, you know? And that's the lore. That's just about all of the silly goobers and...
what about the ships?
Oh my god, how did you get back in here? Oh, yes. The smell of OCX cannon. If that intimidates you, then, well, I don't care. You're gonna hear about this anyway. Ship number 1. Udo. Now, who would have thought the Zesty Bat was gay, and gay for Shadow out of all people? And was the one who started the ship. I really think the only reason why he created an OC with me was just so he can make a OC to ship with Shadow. But I digress. They're kind of like if Sonado and Shadouche had a sick love child, you know? I low-key love to imagine that when Shadow and Savannah were first reunited, Uslid made a comment to Savannah like, oh, Savvy, you didn't tell me your brother was hot. And Savannah's just like, I will shatter your soul. Don't play with me, boy. Speaking of Savannah, Ship 2, Serjana. Serjana, the longer I go drawing it and thinking about it, the more I realize it's literally just Sonado but Yuri. It's Savannah and Serge the Tendrick, you know, from the IDW comics. I'd imagine that this little ship starts soon after Serge is like, you know what, me and Kit, we're gonna be heroes. We're gonna have the public love us, you know. And upon first meeting her, Savannah was just thinking in her head, oh, wait a minute now. Now, don't get it twisted. She would never say this out loud. She has a reputation to uphold. In fact, these two kind of bicker a little bit. They have a little rivalry going on here. You see where the Sonado but Yuri comes into play? I'd imagine that Serge is always trying to get, the two of them to spar. And when Savannah's like, I have no time for your foolish games, Serge is just like, oh, so you're chicken. And then that sets her off, and then they have to spar. They have to fight now. If y'all want me to make OCX canon animations, I am more than happy to do that. I could... See, I was about to just put a like goal, but no, we're not doing that. I'm just gonna make OCX canon animations anyway. I don't care. But yeah, that's just about it. We're kind of planning on making a third silly guy to put into Sonic Heroes so that they can have a heroes team. We're planning on naming them, I think Team Eternity was the name we came up with. And I mean, shoot. Listen, I ain't gonna say any names, but you know dang well who you are. I know you're watching this, and I know you reached it to the end. You're gonna make another silly guy with us. You are obligated to.